Welcome to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings, and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wilding in the stand. For laid-back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gonna be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah.
What's up, Kings fans? Welcome back to another Royal Rebounds Podcast. I'm live here breaking down the Sacramento Kings 104-99 win tonight over the LA Clippers. Unfortunately, Calvin is not feeling well tonight, but I do have a special guest filling in, SacTown Pete. What's up, Pete?
What's going on, Barry? What's going on, everybody? It's good to be here. How about that game tonight?
Oh, man, awesome win. Wow, that was just truly incredible. First off, I want to welcome everybody that hasn't been here before. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. If you're a Kings fan, make sure you hit that like button. I also have Pete's channel linked down in the description down below. So if you want to check out some more awesome Kings content by Pete, make sure you guys hit that link and subscribe to his channel as well. He puts out a ton of awesome Kings content almost every other day. So it's really cool. And thank you so much, Pete, for taking the time to be here.
It's a pleasure. It's great to be on. Appreciate you having me on. So thank you.
So the Kings have officially won 4 out of their last 6 games. We saw Marvin Bagley return tonight. Mo Harkless is still out. Harrison Barnes is still out. But the Kings only have 1 game in the next 6 days. So an awesome victory tonight, something to build off of. Pete, what were your first thoughts on the game tonight?
You know, the first thoughts was just the energy coming out. From the moment from the tip off, everybody seemed like they were locked in. De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Haliburton, I think out of the first 24 points of the game in the first quarter, they combined for 17 out of the 24 points. So it was really great to see Tyrese Haliburton in particular stand out because he was looking for his shots and his shot looked really good tonight. And De'Aaron Fox was in attack mode. So that's a couple of things that stood out to me in the first quarter. What was your thoughts on the first quarter?
Oh, man, it was an exciting game. I know everyone was talking smack about us the last couple of days, saying we can't beat the Clippers without Paul George. We lost 15 in a row. We haven't beat the Clippers at home in Sacramento since 2013. The Kings came out tonight, and they handled business, man. They made it happen. One thing that really surprised me, though, was Richaun Holmes ended the game with 1 point. He didn't take his first field goal until the third quarter. But Terrence Davis stole the show, man. By far his best game of the season, and he definitely propelled the Kings to a victory.
Yeah, Terrence Davis was awesome. He stood out, definitely stood out. Just what we envisioned, what we wanted to see him from the beginning of the season. And it seems like his time is now, and it's coming. And he has done a fantastic job of shooting the ball very well the last 2 games, both games against the Clippers.
Yeah, you want to break down the box score here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and break it down. So let's just go and start off with the starting 5. Tyrese Haliburton in 37 minutes tonight. He had 18 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. De'Aaron Fox in 37 minutes tonight. He had 17 points, 8 boards, 5 assists. Terrence Davis in 29 minutes tonight. He had 28 points, 4 boards, 0 assists. Richaun Holmes in 27 minutes. He had 1 point, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Chimezie Metu got the start at the 4 tonight, and in 23 minutes he had 5 points, 4 boards, 1 assist. Let's just go ahead and
5 big blocks for Metu as well.
5 big blocks, yeah, exactly. Great defensive plays by Chimezie Metu tonight. And quickly over, let's take a look at the bench tonight. Davion Mitchell in 28 minutes, he had 2 points, 2 boards, 3 assists. Marvin Bagley in 20 minutes tonight, he had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 0 assists. Buddy Hield in 20 minutes tonight, he had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. And Alex Len in 12 minutes, he had 3 points, 4 boards, 0 assists. And Tristan Thompson in 9 minutes, he had 8 points, 3 boards, 0 assists.
Big game by Marvin Bagley tonight. I think this is one of his best performances of the season as well. They said this was his first triple, or actually double-double since May of this year, or last year. So really, really long time for him. Glad to see him playing really, really well off the bench. I still think I got to give the game ball to Terrence Davis. What do you think?
Yeah, as great as Bagley was off the bench tonight, like you mentioned, first double-double since May of from previous season. Terrence Davis came out swinging, and he didn't look back. He was offensively great for the Sacramento Kings tonight. Just put on a shooting clinic from beyond the arc. He was 6 of 11 from downtown and 4 of 4 overall from the free throw line. Just very productive to see TD in 29 minutes tonight. And I'm happy for TD. You know, this is what we envisioned to see in TD when we brought him back in the offseason. And I'm glad his time is now and he's getting his moment to shine.
Yeah, I agree. Can we talk a little bit about this De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Haliburton tandem? One thing I really, really liked early on in this game was the first 4 points were scored by those guys. They were just getting to the basket. They were being aggressive. Everyone talks about how, Fox and Halliburton might not be able to play together, how Halliburton needs to score a little bit more. We saw him super aggressive tonight, 4 of 8 from three-point range, 18 big points for Tyrese. He was dishing the ball a little bit. He was playing great defense. But just the overall aggressiveness I saw from Fox and Haliburton, they seem to take turns. Like, okay, you go now. I'm going to get to the basket. Now it's your turn. And just I love to see it from them. You wouldn't say they played really fast tonight when you look at the box score with only 104 points, but they definitely pushed the pace in this game, and they got a lot of points in transition.
They did. And I think Tyrese Haliburton, I'm sure our Kings community and Kings Twitter was raving about him taking, more than 4 or 5 shots a game. And I think tonight he heard us loud and clear. It was great to see him. Look at the box score here. It's great to see him be 7 of 14 overall and 4 of 8 from downtown. Just knowing the fact that he's starting, and we were so accustomed to seeing him kind of come in with the second unit last season and take more than 5 shots a game. But to have him be a starter now and to see him get comfortable and locked in tonight, it was great to see Tyrese Haliburton just come out swinging, and the shot looked good. He was aggressive. He had the ball in his hands majority of the game tonight, and he did a fantastic job of just putting other shooters in positions to succeed as well. And De'Aaron Fox was just attacking the hoop as well, and it was great to see that as well.
Yeah, we heard Harrison Barnes is playing for the Stockton Kings tonight. He's getting ready for a comeback. Hopefully he'll be ready for Wednesday's game. Same goes for Mo Harkless. The team really missed him during this stretch. But having guys like Terrence Davis stepping up, ready to go, having guys like Fox and Haliburton being more aggressive makes up for some of those losses or some of the lack of production from those guys. But what do you think went on with Richaun Holmes tonight? Why do you think he didn't get so many shot attempts? He seemed involved. He seemed engaged. I saw a couple great blocks. I could tell his ankle's feeling well, but he just wasn't there scoring tonight.
Yeah, he wasn't. And it was a bit of a surprise to see him only take 3 shots and not get that many touches. But I feel like what stood out was Alvin Gentry going with the 4-guard lineup tonight in some instances, majority of the second half. I mean, you had Fox, Haliburton, Mitchell, and Terrence Davis all on the court at the same time. And I feel like him going out with the 4-guard rotation to go with the rolling big like a Bagley or even a Tristan Thompson, especially in the fourth quarter, that lineup worked. And if I'm Coach Gentry, I'm going to go with what's working. And I feel like just the matchups that the guards created tonight was a mismatch nightmare for the opposing for the Clippers defense. And I feel like I got to give credit where it's due to Coach Gentry. He went with what was working, and that's nothing against Rashad, because we all know Rashad is very talented and he's deserving of more than 3 touches or going over 3. But I just feel like the matchup was better for us in our favorites tonight with going with 4 guards majority of the game.
Yeah, I agree. And, we saw the Clippers try and go small as well. There was a point they had Paul George playing center for them, which didn't really seem to work out. But I just love to see, this Kings team starting to get a little bit of momentum going. I got my gold jersey on. We're trying to get this winning streak going. Like I said, 4 out of the last 6 games, the Kings have gotten a victory. What do you think is the biggest difference you've seen from this Kings team now versus the Luke Walton-led Kings?
It just seems like players are buying in. They're stepping up for Alvin Gentry. They're willing to step up and just it's the next man up. I mean, from the beginning, it's like, let me start off with Marvin Bagley. It's just, I kind of find it weird that he went from not being in the rotation under Coach Luke Walton, and then from now getting minutes under Alvin Gentry. And I got to give credit where it's due, man. Alvin Gentry has done a fantastic job of giving Marvin Bagley the minutes that he is seeking, and Marvin Bagley has done a fantastic job of taking advantage of that, staying ready and getting those minutes. And I feel like it's just rubbing in the right way with others as well. Everybody contributing to the team. Terrence Davis the last 2 games has been fantastic and willing to just play for Alvin Gentry's offense, which we all know Alvin Gentry is a offensive minded coach, and the offense has been fantastic the last 3 games. So I think that they've looked really good offensively. Defensively at times, seems like they're kind of just not moving around defensively. But I feel like, as more practice time coming up, our next game's not until Wednesday. So I think that they'll kind of fix things defensively on the defensive end. But yeah, it's just like the energy is looking great, and everybody's just, buying into what Coach Gentry wants them to do offensively.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes that Luke made during his tenure with the Kings was benching Marvin Bagley. It kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of fans were very upset. We saw, Marvin's agent was upset. I watched your podcast with SacTown Breakdown today earlier. Shout out to SacTown Breakdown. Awesome. We had him on the show just a couple days ago. But I got a little bit of more insight from you about Marvin Bagley and what you think he could potentially bring to this King squad. And I think tonight we got a little bit of a preview of that. Marvin seems to be back. He seems to be getting more comfortable as the games go on. And I remember one thing that Skip said in your guys' interview was, you got to give the guy some minutes to at least get a rhythm going, because how can you judge a guy when he doesn't have any rhythm and he's just getting a little bit here, a little bit there? He can't get a rhythm or adjust.
Absolutely. And, just getting minutes and having him get comfortable with minutes, it's very, very critical for not only the Sacramento Kings and for Marvin Bagley, but for his confidence as well. Like I said, the more minutes that he gets, the better it's going to be for us as a team and him as a player. But it's just great to see Marv just overall contributing and playing at a high level. Like I said, like we said, a double tonight, the first one since May. And I was there actually at the Blazers game last week, and to see him hit that corner 3 to pretty much put the icing on the cake on that game, and to see his fire and his passion, his emotion, just let it all out. It was great being there live, seeing that. And I'm happy for Marv, man. And I feel like he's going to continue to take advantage of getting these minutes that Coach Gentry is giving him. He's very deserving of it because he's playing really, really well under Coach Gentry. And I think moving forward, the more he gets comfortable, the more it's going to be helpful for his game moving forward, and it's going to open up his game moving forward for others as well. So I'm happy that Marvin is in the rotation. So
if you're coaching the team right now, are you starting Marvin Bagley?
I'm going to go with, I think he's deserved to be the starter, and he's earning his minutes, and I feel like he is the most talented power forward on our team currently. And that's no disrespect to any of the forwards. I just feel like in terms of offensively, he's very versatile. He can do pretty much everything. And let's face it, his defense has gotten better as well. I love the fact that assistant coach Doug Christie is working with them on his defensive schemes. And you can see that, he's gotten better defensively as well. And I just forgot how great of a quick second jump is. I mean, I saw that tonight, and I'm like, man, he's definitely so vital to his team's success. And I feel like he's only going to grow and get better from here on out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Shout out Kristen, Fred, Patrick. Thank you all for joining us. Neil, it's good to see you guys. Sass, good to see you all in the chat. Hope you guys are having an awesome night. celebrating another Kings victory. Make sure you guys hit that like button down below. We got SacTown Pete filling in for Calvin tonight. If you guys are interested in hearing more from SacTown Pete, you can check out his YouTube channel. I got a link right down in the description below. I see some people here in the chat talking about Rashawn's being a natural power forward. I don't know if it really matters in today's game. You know, so many bigs are interchangeable. But if you were to start a Bagley and Holmes combo, are you putting Bagley at the power forward and Holmes at the center? I mean, it could be different offensively and defensively, but Marvin seems to space the floor a little bit more than a guy like Rashawn. So I want to hear your thoughts on those two guys fitting together down below.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we mentioned, Rashawn Holmes and Marvin Bagley, is I think they can coexist and play together. Like you mentioned, Barry, Marvin can spread the floor, whereas Rashawn is more of a stay in the paint player. And I feel like at times we can put Bagley out on the elbow and have the offense run through him, and then have Holmes hanging out on the baseline and just get ready to catch the ball, or even just get ready to go up for a dunk or even a putback dunk. So as far as them playing together, I don't think it shouldn't be an issue. I wish we'd really see more of that. But I get that Alvin Gentry is still only 7 games in with this roster as the head coach, and I feel like over the time he can definitely work with the bigs and see what he's got in them moving forward. But yeah, I would keep Rashawn Holmes at center and have Bagley at the 4 at power forward. But like you said, positionless basketball, pretty much that's how it is, how the game is played in today's era. And I feel like Rashawn Holmes can stay pat where he's at, and same with Marvin Bagley.
I really liked what I saw out of Tristan Thompson tonight. You know, this is his first game playing in 3 games. He didn't play against the last game against the Clippers or against the Lakers. After having 2 huge performances with Rashawn Holmes out, he got 9 minutes tonight, 8 points. I love what I saw from him. He got a couple offensive rebounds. He was banging in down below. What do you think about Tristan Thompson? And what do you feel like his role is on this team? You know, we talked about giving guys consistent minutes. I think that he's one of the guys on this roster who could sit for 2 games and come back in and play just like he hadn't been out. But we talked about consistency. How many minutes do you think this guy should be getting per night?
You know, Tristan Thompson is who I thought of when we traded for him. Just a solid-nosed veteran that provides leadership and that locker room presence. It kind of reminds me of Iman Shumpert, who we had a couple seasons ago. Very good locker room guy from what I've heard. He's a NBA world champion. He won it with Iman Shumpert back in 2016 when they both played with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving for the Cavaliers. But his role for the Sacramento Kings, like I said, is providing leadership, that veteranship that this team has obviously lacked for over the years. And I think he should be getting anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes a game, possibly even more depending on matchups. But I feel like he's done a fantastic job of just staying ready, waiting for his number to be called up. And when Gentry has put him in the game, he's been very productive. 8 points, 3 boards. The great thing about Tristan is that he was 4 of 4 from the free throw line tonight. And I feel like anytime when the Sacramento Kings are making free throws, it's really great to see that. And free throws are such an important aspect of the game because they're free points at the end of the game. And I feel like Tristan not only provides just the hustle and the energy that he's been providing on the court, but I feel like having a veteran blue-nosed guy like a Tristan Thompson in the locker room, that's someone that's going to call you out, that's going to put you on the spot. That's definitely going to tell you what your flaws are and what you need to work on. It's just him adding that to the team is just so vital to this team's overall success.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love everything that I'm seeing from him. The Kings addressed some really big needs last year, defense in the paint and rebounding. I think Tristan Thompson was the perfect guy to bring in to help them with those things. And just the leadership and the stuff he's done in the locker room is kind of a bonus for me because I wasn't even really expecting that from him. I got to talk about a little bit of drama here because, you know, everyone talked about, the Kardashians have come to Sacramento and all this stuff. So this week, the story comes out that Tristan Thompson is having a baby with somebody not named Kardashian. It's a pretty crazy article. I guess he got with one of his personal trainers and she's expecting and blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. The reason I bring this up, she's suing him for child support. In his defense, he alleges that they need to drop the amount of child support because he plans on retiring at the end of this season, and therefore his income is going to drop. He's only 30 years old. I want to hear your thoughts on this because I don't see him retiring anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't. He's 30 years old. I don't see him retiring after the season. There's just no way. I think he has a lot left in his tank, and I feel like he can still, be a productive basketball player after the season. All that stuff, I just try to not want to bring it in here in Sacramento, or even just not have it, rub the wrong way on our team and our franchise. It is what it is, though. I heard about that leak before the game tonight, and I feel like the team should definitely focus on where they're at right now, which is 10-14. And Tristan himself, he should definitely kind of leave that out of the Sacramento Kings locker room and the organization's keys or the door, should I say? But it is what it is. I don't know if the reports are true or not, but if they are, I mean, like I said, it is what it is. Hopefully that doesn't steer us away from what we're trying to focus on, is actually to get better one game at a time and just get back to being around the 500 mark. So that's all I'm going to say about that report.
Yeah, it's funny. He can kind of teach these young guys even more than he knew, right? Like how to not make these mistakes and how to not get yourself in these positions. What up, Skip? Glad to see you there in the chat. Welcome. Makami, good to see you as well. Shout out, guys. So you had mentioned free throws. We had talked about how free throws have really hurt this Kings team all year long. 80% from the free throw line tonight for the team, 4 for 4 for Tristan Thompson. But the most important number for me is 13 of 15 in the fourth quarter. A lot of those free throws were at the very end. Clippers are trying to get back in the game by intentionally fouling. Morris hits a 3 late, making it a close game. So what do you think they're doing any different? Because, a free throw is a free throw, but something seems to have changed.
Yeah, I just think that they just seem like the last couple of games, they're like more like engaged. They're more locked in. They're communicating, whether it's offensively or whether it's even defensively. It seems like even tonight was a perfect example of nobody slacking, or there wasn't an off assignment on the defensive end. Everybody communicated really well. And to hold this Clippers team to 99 points, I think that's a fantastic job done by Alvin Gentry and the staff. Yes, you can argue the fact that the Clippers were on the second night of a back-to-back, and they did play the Lakers last night, and they beat the Lakers. But this is the NBA. It's a league, and you're going to have back-to-back nights, and I feel like the Kings did a good job of just holding Paul George to his own, and just defensively overall as a team, they did a fantastic job. And I feel like the free throw shooting, we have a great, guys who can shoot the ball from the free throw line really well. And I want to see this carry over. Like De'Aaron Fox, the last 6-7 games, he's improved to becoming a 74% free throw shooter. And I feel like, for him in particular, being that point guard, being the head of the snake, and being the franchise player, I wanted to see him before the season to be around the 80% range from the free throw line. And I feel like he's done a fantastic job of just making free throws the last 6-7 games. For granted tonight, he was 1 of 4 from the free throw line, but he's very capable of making free throws, and we all know that. We just want to see that consistently.
Yeah, I totally agree. I want to talk a little bit about Buddy Hield. Calvin and I have both been critical of Buddy. In the last show, someone told us my new favorite nickname, Buddy Chuckets, and we were kind of chuckling at that because over the past couple games, it seemed like when the Kings were down, all he was doing was chucking the ball and taking a lot of bad shots. Only 20 minutes tonight for him. He only shot the ball 5 times from three-point range, made 1 of those, 10 points. But I saw some incredible defense and hustle out of Buddy Hield tonight. I'm critical of guys when, they're not playing well and they make mistakes. And I like to applaud guys when they're playing well. I really like what I saw out of Buddy Hield tonight. What about you?
Yeah. Buddy Hield was fantastic on the defensive end tonight. And it's crazy because Buddy Hield's not known for his defensive side of the basketball, but he really played fantastic defense tonight. Offensively, like you said, he was pretty quiet, but it's like with Buddy, it's like he found ways to be effective. And I feel like tonight in particular, we knowing the fact that Terrence Davis was cooking offensively, Buddy Hield stepped his game up defensively. There were some big defensive stops that he got that led to baskets and that led to having this game, give him some breathing room and towards the end of the game. And I think that Buddy Hield, not knowing for his defense, he played a great defensive basketball tonight. Moving forward, I want to see that. I want to continue to see that. As long as he's in the Kings uniform, I want to see Buddy play better defense moving forward because we all know what he can do offensively and shoot the ball. And I think moving forward, his defense will continue to improve and get better.
Yeah, seems to be a couple games this season where Buddy Hield has just looked like a completely different player on the defensive end of the court, and this is one of them. And I noticed the Kings seem to win those games. When he's shooting, 2 of 13, 3 of 13, he seems to fall out of it on the defensive end of the floor as well. And then the Kings end up losing those games. So I really loved what I saw from him tonight, even though he only scored 10 points. Part of that, I think, is Terrence Davis was playing so well that, a lot didn't fall on Buddy Hield on the offensive end of the floor, and the Kings were up most of this game. So he wasn't just trying to shoot them back in. So a lot of great things I saw from him. So I see you got that Davion Mitchell jersey on the wall behind you. Is that the one you got signed at the game?
That is correct. Yeah. Shout out to Davion Mitchell and his family. Great people. And we set this up for opening night. It was great to kind of connect with them. And it was great to chop it up with Davion as well. And it was just, I had to get it signed and framed and put it up, as you guys can see. And overall, just I'm excited for Davion Mitchell just to be a part of the Sacramento Kings organization and just moving forward, getting comfortable offensively, continue to get better, and knowing the fact that he's a great defender already. I think there are great times ahead for Davion Mitchell in the Kings uniform.
Yeah, how'd you meet his uncle?
So we just connected through Twitter. We connected to Twitter, and then we kind of just set this up. And he told me that he was going to be in town for the opening night, and I was like, yeah, let's make it. He wants to meet me in person, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then from there, we just met, connected, and it was fortunate to meet Davion after the game. And it was really cool to kind of just connect with Davion for a couple seconds after the game, talk to him, tell him that, hey, we're the loyal, faithful fan base. You're going to love us here, and we'll be supporting you no matter what. And he really appreciated the love that he saw the moment that the Kings drafted him. And just looking forward to, seeing him grow and mature as an individual and as a basketball player playing for the Sacramento Kings, man.
That's really cool, man. That's really special. That's, a lot of fans, that's what they dream of, right? Is meeting the newest player on their team. So that's really cool that you got to live that. And I know you put out a video, so make sure you guys go to SacTown Pete's page and check out his video of getting the jersey signed. It's a really, really cool experience. What'd you feel the Kings got from Davion tonight?
Davion was offensively quiet. He was one of 7 overall from the field, and he was 0 of 2. But I feel like, his defensive presence really helped out in 28 minutes. There's times where, they put him on Paul George. He made it tough on PG. And even at times they put him on Reggie Jackson and had, Eric Bledsoe on clamps. I mean, I look at Eric Bledsoe's numbers tonight. In 18 minutes, he had, 0 points. He was 0 of 7 from overall from the field. And I feel like that was a big factor of Davion Mitchell just clamping him down and playing that hard-nosed defense on him. So defensively, like I said, Davion Mitchell, it's always great to get offense out of him because that just makes it even more difficult for him or for defenses to play him and go up against him. But we know one thing about Davion Mitchell, and that is he's a consistent, hard-nosed defender that's never going to stop. This kid can defend 24 to 48 hours straight, man. He's just that great of a defender. And it's great to have that defensive presence on this team because the Sacramento Kings have not had a shutdown defender like a Davion Mitchell since Ron Artest. And I stand by what I say. He's been the best defender on the Kings roster since Ron Artest.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think what a lot of Kings fans fail to forget here is that going up against this guy every day in practice makes your other teammates better. It's not just what he brings on game day. It's the work ethic. It's everything. It's the complete package that other players see on the team, and it makes them want to work harder, which is awesome. And if you're a Kings fan, that's all you can really ask for from these guys, right? Is just to work hard and be dedicated. It's awesome to see him, and I think we're going to continue to see him progress throughout the rest of this season. Everybody that's just joining in here, welcome to Royal Rebounds TV. We are live post-game discussing the Sacramento Kings 104-99 victory over the LA Clippers tonight. If you're a Kings fan, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if it's your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We put out fresh Kings content almost every day. We love the Kings. Calvin, unfortunately, is off tonight, but I got SacTown Pete filling in. And if you guys are interested in SacTown Pete, make sure you check out his channel down in the description. All right, Pete, I think it's time to talk about De'Aaron Fox. Many people think De'Aaron's the best player on the Kings roster. I do as well. Some people would argue Harrison Barnes is more consistent. But that aside, De'Aaron Fox played pretty well tonight. Only 17 points, but I saw a lot of aggressiveness out of him. I saw some great defense out of him. What'd you see out of De'Aaron tonight?
I saw him be aggressive, like you said, and he had 8 rebounds. He rebounded really well for at his position tonight. And I feel like De'Aaron Fox, obviously we know the type of season that he's had. He's very capable of elevating and playing at a higher level. And it's hard for some fans, and I get the fans' frustration on, for where he was as a player last season compared to this season thus far. We all know what he's capable of. And as a player, you're going to go through stretches where you're going to, go through some tough stretches. And I feel like De'Aaron Fox is finding ways to be very effective. If he's not offensively getting it going, he can find ways to be effective on the defensive end or rebound the ball and dish out the ball. So I'm looking at stats tonight. He had 8 rebounds. He had 5 assists and in 37 minutes. Yes, offensively, he had 17 points. Could he have been better? Yeah, absolutely could have been better. But I feel like with the aggression to play defense, put the pressure of the ball on the defensive end, he did a fantastic job holding as well and helping out on the defensive end and rebound the ball as well. And moving forward, what I want to see from him is I want to see him continue to be aggressive and stay alert, find ways and areas where you can continue to grow in and offensively just attack the hoop, attack the rim, because we all know what he's capable of offensively. People forget the fact that after the All-Star break last year, he was one of the few players to average, 27 and a half and 8 and 9, which he's very accustomed to doing that this season as well. And I feel like with Alvin Gentry's seamless flow, offensive minded coaching style of play, I think Fox will only continue to thrive and get better. So you expect a lot of big games coming up for De'Aaron Fox offensively.
During the little losing streak and the slide, a lot of fans I saw were on the trade De'Aaron Fox bandwagon. I've always loved Fox. I think he's a great player. It's hard being a Kings fan because, there's so much talent around the league, but it's finally good to have a guy who's good and wants to be in Sacramento and wants to be on this team. The only way I would trade De'Aaron Fox is if I'm bringing in more talent to help get this team over the slump. Over the hump, or the slump, as you could go either way there. But what are you feeling about De'Aaron Fox? Do you think him and Tyrese can coexist on this team? Are you open to a potential trade if you can bring in, let's say an all-star? How do you feel about that whole situation?
I'm very invested in this backcourt, this duo, in De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Haliburton. As you mentioned, if there's a player that becomes available or that's currently available that the Kings can have to break up the core to get that player. The way I look at it, if it makes us better for the long run, I would be open to anything. But at the same time, I feel like continuity and just having, not having constant changes is so vital to a organization's success. And I feel like De'Aaron Fox is in his 5th year. He's still only 23 years old. Tyrese Haliburton's in his 2nd year. We just took him last year. So I feel like they don't have enough. They haven't had the time together to coexist. And I'll put it this way: if they're like 3-4 years in, and if they're still having issues coexisting, then we have a problem. But I feel like we haven't reached that point yet because we're still trying to figure out the chemistry and just having them get more time with one another and get each other acclimated with each other as well. And I feel like I'm willing to give it time as there's could be pressure of mounting up with the front office to make a big splash with the team's roster. We should be open to that because at the end of the day, we're in a 15-year playoff drought, and the Sacramento Kings and Monty McNair and staff, they should be doing everything in their power and will to end the drought and land a all-star caliber player. Whether that's breaking up the core, whether it's breaking up a Fox or a Halliburton, I'm open to it. But at the same time, I feel like when I look at this roster, there's other than Fox and Halliburton, there's not much to rave about. And that's nothing against anybody on the roster, but I feel like if you can add a third piece to go with the Halliburton and the Fox, then that's great. That'd be great. But in order to give one of them up, either or, I feel like it'll just be we're back to step one, and we need another piece or another player to go with this start out who we traded for. So, how do you feel about that?
That's a really good point. And watching your last podcast, you were talking about Ben Simmons. I know how you like Ben Simmons, and I do as well. But unlike what a lot of people are thinking in trading De'Aaron Fox for Ben Simmons, you want to add Ben Simmons to Fox and Halliburton, which, I like that a lot. If that were an option, I think that would be a pretty good option for the Kings. I think Ben Simmons could play a very Draymond Green type role, playing the power forward for this squad, playing a lot of defense, maybe, high pick and rolls or operating out of the elbow with the ball. I think he's got great vision. But, as far as De'Aaron Fox goes, I think we need more time to see how these guys mesh together. One thing, though, that I really do like is I love the chemistry between Tyrese Haliburton and Richaun Holmes. Those guys just always seem to be on the same page. So if I were to give up De'Aaron Fox and let Tyrese run the show, I think that could be successful, but I still think I need to see a little bit more before I'm willing to make a decision like that. So I saw a trade offer today by sportsnot.com. De'Aaron Fox heading to the Boston Celtics for Marcus Smart, Aaron Nesmith, a 2022 first-round pick, and a 2024 first-round pick. How do you feel about a deal like this?
I didn't hear Jason Tatum's name. Did I get that right?
No Jason Tatum, no Brown either.
Oh man, Boston has the assets to get deals done. That would be a trade which I would be open to, but what I'm getting in return, I don't think the talent what I'm getting in return is on par with what De'Aaron Fox ultimately is as a player. So if I had that offer on the table, if I'm Monty McNair, I'm gonna turn it down. I feel like De'Aaron Fox is the guy he can be that guy. And there's been King's Twitter community, they have question about De'Aaron Fox being the guy. He can't be the guy. I mean, we saw him be the guy last season, guys. Despite whatever happened last season, despite the multiple 9-game losing streaks, despite the losing efforts early on the season, we saw De'Aaron Fox play at the top of the level, and he was one of the best fourth quarter guys last season, all season. He did it all the whole year. And the fact that the fans are doubting him and getting frustrated with him and his play so far, I think it's just it's crazy because De'Aaron Fox I think he can be the guy. He can be the guy you can build your team around. I think that he just needs more time with the current core, with the Haliburton, with the Davion Mitchell. And I think that players will feed off of De'Aaron Fox. There's times where, like, the body language in some of the post game interviews that he's done this season, I want to put it entirely on De'Aaron Fox. But when you're head the snake, when you're not playing well, you're gonna get destroyed. And I feel like he's gotten fair criticism of some majority of the games this season because he hasn't performed well offensively. But my point is, he can get past this. Every player, every great player, every all-star caliber player has struggled, and they've gone through phases of that. I mean, Damian Lillard starting out this season, look at the funk that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, you know how great of a player Damian Lillard is. Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to get off topic here, but football. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. He regressed, or he went through a tough stretch this season as well, and he's still Patrick Mahomes, right? One of the best young talents in the NFL. So my point is, De'Aaron Fox, despite him taking the criticism and all the negativity that he's come across this season, I'm not ready to give up on him. I'm not ready to trade him. The only way I would trade him is for a all-star caliber type of player. Other than that, I'm not trading him. I'm keeping him. I'm walking it out with him. He's still 23 years old. He still has room to grow as well. And I feel like he's going to be the guy who will lead the Sacramento Kings back to the playoffs.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Totally. I think one of the biggest knocks on De'Aaron Fox has been leadership. I saw a lot of leadership coming from Tyrese Haliburton tonight. He was aggressive with the ball and without the ball. I saw him screaming at refs. I saw him animated, yelling at the crowd. It was really exciting to see that. There's different forms of leadership. Some guys are more outgoing than others. You look at a guy like Harrison Barnes, you think leadership. But he's not a very, outspoken person. He's very well spoken for, but he's not a very in-your-face kind of guy. I think if I were the Kings and I was looking to trade one of these players, I'd probably trade Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield before I trade a guy like De'Aaron Fox. And that's just age-wise, as I feel like these guys are a little bit older. Maybe their window doesn't match up with some of these younger guys. You look at a guy like Davion Mitchell, played a ton of years in college, just came into the league, very young. You got De'Aaron Fox is very young. Rashawn Holmes is still really young. Tyrese Haliburton is young. So I feel like some of these guys that are 30 or right around 30 seem to be just past the window of this young Kings team. I like Marcus Smart a lot. I love Aaron Nesmith a lot. I'd be happy to bring both of those guys to Sacramento along with a pick or two. But I think I'd probably try and include a guy like Harrison Barnes first. And, Harrison Barnes has got to be pretty well respected around the league. If I'm a championship, team or looking to be a championship team, I think Harrison Barnes is definitely a guy that you could add to your roster. For some of these young guys you can give up that could help a team like Sacramento more than an older guy like HB.
Absolutely. I mean, Harrison Barnes has been, fantastic overall as a player in the NBA. And I feel like I'm with you on with as far as like the age gap and the age group. If we can do our due diligence and find him a new home, maybe he can play for a contending team and have a chance to win a championship. All the best to Harrison Barnes, but he stayed as a true pro and a professional here in Sacramento, despite all the rumors that he went through last season. Because let's face it, his name was a hot name during the trade deadline last season, and for him to stay professional, and even this season that he's had a fantastic season before he got hurt, and he was really a bright spot for the Sacramento Kings this season. So, I mean, I'm open to dealing Harrison Barnes, doing what's right for Harrison Barnes and the Kings, but at the same time, it's been great to have Harrison Barnes at the 3 at the last couple of years as well, and seeing him play great offensively this season as well.
Yeah, and with the lack of wing depth on this team, to give up a guy like Harrison Barnes, you would obviously need some more forwards to kind of fill in there. Speaking of forwards, we talked about Marvin Bagley a little bit earlier, but I want to just hear your best worst-case scenario for him through the rest of the season and potentially the offseason. I know he's a restricted free agent. This is year 4 of the rookie scale. Do you see him potentially getting moved before the deadline? He's started to play a little bit more, maybe rebuild some of his value, or do you think the Kings hold on to him and try and figure it out in the offseason?
That's great. So when it comes to Marvin Bagley, I think the worst case scenario is, the best case scenario is to obviously see him ball out and shine and thrive under Coach Gentry. And hopefully it works out, offer him a cheap extension. The way I look at it, offer him the Steph Curry extension, the 4-year, $44 million deal. But worst case scenario, he shines, he continues to thrive under Coach Gentry. We can possibly work out a sign and trade as well. What that looks like will have to be yet to be remain to be seen in the summertime. But there's been rumors about Monty McNair just wanting to pull the trigger on Marvin Bagley because his deal, it is a $11 million contract right now that's expiring, and that's pending if we do make him qualifying offer to be a restricted free agent, which I feel like from what I've heard on my side is that they have no indications of making that to Marvin Bagley. So it's very unfortunate, but like I said, at the same time, you want to do what's best, and that is if that's best for Marvin Bagley and the Sacramento Kings as an organization, then so be it. But I want to see Marvin Bagley continue to shine and grow as an individual and as a player. And hopefully it works out for him, whether it's not here in Sacramento. Hopefully he gets with it moving forward to another team. And hopefully the Kings can, look at their returns and what they would get for him and see if it works out. So that's how I see the Marvin Bagley, situation playing out.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about coaching here. This is Alvin's 7th game as head coach of the Kings. They're now 4-3. We talked a little bit about the differences between him and Luke Walton, and, maybe Walton had alienated some of the players on this Kings team. Do you like Alvin Gentry? Are you cool to rock with him for the rest of the season? And then how do you feel about the offseason? Do you feel like there's a perfect coach that's ready to step in and take this? Do you have a guy in mind?
I do like Coach Gentry. I love the fact that he's very offensive minded. And I feel like, the whole situation with the Luke Walton and how he got, let go of a couple weeks ago. Me personally, I was very critical of Luke Walton. I felt like Monty McNair should have pulled the plug on Luke Walton in the offseason and just give Alvin Gentry the whole season to play it out and see how it goes, which obviously it worked out. So Alvin Gentry has taken over, and there's 7 games so far. He's 4-3 with this team. How I see it playing out for the rest of the season, he is going to remain the coach the rest of the season. I just no way in heck I see Monty just, canning and firing him, letting him go, and then, bringing in next man up a third coach in this one season. That's just too much, so much to ask for. As far as after the season goes, a lot of it depends on the team's success. If this team is around 500 basketball, which my hopes was going into the season, which they would be around 500 basketball, potentially look at a play-in bid. I think you rock it out with Alvin Gentry and bring him back. But at the same time, anytime a GM takes over, 99% of the time they want to bring in their coaching staff, and they want to bring in their guy. So I wouldn't be surprised if Monty McNair decides that, okay, Alvin Gentry did this for us this season, but now I have the chance to have the whole summer to do a search and who I want to bring in. There is 2 names that kind of stand out to me who I think, if we're going to move away from Alvin Gentry after the season, who I think can really, really have a chance of being the head coach here next season is Golden State Warriors assistant coach Kenny Atkinson. I feel like he did a fantastic job with the Brooklyn Nets before they signed Kevin Durant and before they went after Harden and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I know Skip likes him a lot too.
Yeah, I like him a lot too. I just think that he's new blood. He's a young coach as well, and he reminds his coaching just reminds me a lot of Dave Yeager in ways. Very defensive minded and can coach offensively as well. So I think he can be a realistic candidate. He is currently a assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors. And the other guy who I think can really be an option would be I know people might think I'm crazy, but Mike Brown might be another guy as well, which I think could be an option. Yeah, Mike Brown, and I think Mark Jackson could be another realistic option as well. Mike Brown will say that because there's some connection with Vivek Ranadive, who is the owner of the Sacramento Kings. So they do have a valuable source and people around Vivek that are really speaking highly of Mike Brown. And as a coach, I mean, he's coached LeBron James. He's led those Cleveland Cavalier teams to some Eastern Conference Finals and even NBA Finals. And the connection there is around Vivek and his people, from what I've heard. But Mark Jackson, I mean, if I had to pick one between Mike Brown and Mark Jackson, I'm going to go with Mark Jackson because I feel like Mark Jackson is a player's coach. And I feel like his leadership, he's done well just molding and getting that Golden State Warriors team, up to where they're at now, with the Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. I feel like Mark Jackson was very deserving of a chance to get another head coaching position after he got let go because they brought in Steve Kerr. And I feel like he would be a realistic option here, and to have him take over for the Sacramento Kings team, I can see him getting the best out of like a De'Aaron Fox, getting out of Tyrese Haliburton and the rest of the players. So those are the three names I would keep in mind as the season progresses and goes on, and we'll see how it works out with Coach Gentry. But yeah, those three things that stand out to me is Kenny Atkinson, Mike Brown, and Mark Jackson.
Yeah, it's interesting. All three of those guys have the Golden State Warriors connection. And Vivek used to be a partial owner in the Golden State Warriors before he bought the Kings. So you could see a little bit there. I like all three of those guys a lot. I liked watching Mike Brown in Cleveland. I thought he did a wonderful job the first time around with LeBron with what he was given. I like Kenny Atkinson a lot. I think Mark Jackson did a wonderful job instilling confidence in those young Warriors. He was the first guy to tell Thompson and Curry that they were the Splash Brothers, and he gave them that confidence to go out and perform, which is really awesome. It'll be interesting to see what we get out of Gentry through the rest of the season here. I think he will survive the rest of the season, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. And, maybe he'll take a step back and be willing to come back to the Kings as an assistant coach, or maybe he'll move on. But I'm definitely happy to have him on the coaching staff at this point. Let's talk a little bit about schedule. The Kings have been playing pretty decent recently. These last two wins over the Clippers have got me feeling a lot better than I felt after that last Lakers loss. So I'm feeling positive here. I think the Kings have a really light week of action. Only, they got a game Wednesday and then a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. All of these teams are not the greatest in the league, so it's a little bit easier of a schedule. The Kings are also going to get some extra time to practice, get some rest in. We're getting guys like Mo Harkless and Harrison Barnes back. Also, I wanted to mention, I don't know if you heard this or not yet, but 4 Hornets players have entered COVID protocols. That's including Ball, Rozier, Plumlee, and McDaniels. They could potentially all be out for the next 10 days, including Friday's game against the Sacramento Kings. So that is a boost for your Sacramento Kings. But let's talk about this next game against the Magic. It's a home game. The Kings haven't played well at home this season. We just saw them win tonight. This is their first time in 16 tries to beat the Clippers at home. The Magic are not a good team, and they're pretty depleted. So how are you feeling about this game?
We can't overlook them. You mentioned that they're depleted, and they are depleted. They got some bodies missing. And the Sacramento Kings, knowing the fact that your next game is against the Magic on a Wednesday night, you have a couple of days to prepare. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready. And when you're trying to take the next step as a team, Orlando Magic, not saying there should be a pushover, but you got to take care of business. You got to come out. You got to come out swinging. You got to just take care of business Wednesday night. And I feel like there's times so far the season thus far that we may have looked at some teams on the schedule, and the Kings have failed to take advantage of that. I mean, perfect example, like the Memphis Grizzlies last week without John Morant. You felt like, okay, Morant's out. I like where this is going. But Memphis played hard, and they brought it. They gave us the smoke and the work. They beat us by 27 points, and even the Lakers without LeBron James. First half, you play one of the best first halves last Tuesday night, without LeBron, and you feel like, you got momentum going to the half, and then they just laid an egg in the second half, couldn't put the ball in the hoop. Lakers go on that 40-8 run, and, Westbrook and Anthony Davis take over. So I feel like this team just cannot overlook teams that are shorthanded or depleted or missing some of their key players or their best players. And no team should not be marked down as an easy win, because at the end of the day, this is the NBA. You're going to win games that you're not supposed to. You're going to lose some games that you're not supposed to lose. And the Sacramento Kings just mentally got to be locked in and prepared for the Wednesday night's game. And moving forward, look at the schedule. There's a lot of home games coming up, Barry, and it's time to do some home cooking, because we have 10 out of 11 games in this month of December at home at Golden One. So I want to see this team play a lot better. They did a perfect example of playing great basketball tonight and taking care of business against the Clippers, and they got to be consistent. I think that's one of the key things, is being consistent. If they can become consistent, if they can play like they did tonight, I guarantee you, Barry, this team will be a lot closer to a 500 mark than where they're at right now. Because let's face it, they're 10-14. They should be a lot better than their record states, and I feel like they have the chance to be a lot better than their record states this month of December. Because if they can take care of home court advantage, they will be passing the 500 mark.
What a difference a week makes, huh? A week ago, the sky was falling. Everyone was getting traded. The Kings need to blow it up. Now we got 3 games coming up. Like you said, you got to take every game seriously, but there's 3 winnable games coming up. That'll put the Kings 1 game under 500. They'll be playing the Raptors. If they can win these 3 games, they'll be playing the Raptors for a chance to be 500 and a chance to be in the playoff picture, which is pretty surprising considering some of the horrific basketball that we've seen this Kings team play over the last couple weeks, including a couple of those really, really big blowouts. As big of a Kings fan as you and I are, there's a lot of years of pain behind this. There's a lot, where you just see the slide coming again and you're like, uh-oh, here we go. Not again, not again. It's really hard. And, I tell everybody in the audience, it's really hard to sit up here and talk about your team after every single game. It doesn't matter if they win or they lose. But some of those losses where you're down 30 and you got to come up and do a YouTube live afterwards and tell everybody, like, it's okay, it's okay. And everyone in the chat is just so angry. So, it's good we got a victory. The Kings seem to be playing much better. We're getting some guys back from injury. I'm really excited for these next 3 games. I think it's a great chance for the Kings, but like you mentioned, we can't spoil it like we did against the Grizzlies.
Yep, I'm with you. Barry. And it just feel like this team is going to make some strides. I really do believe that. I feel like just with the upcoming schedule coming up and just a lot of home games this month, this team, it's there for them. And, the teams around them, they're dealing with injuries, say health and safety protocols. The Sacramento Kings have to take advantage of this stretch right here in the month of December. And I feel like there's no better way to do it in this month. And they think that they should have the chance to climb the ladder and just get out of this hole at their end.
Yep, I agree. Well, hey, Pete, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to tell the audience before you take off?
No, man, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Please hit the like and subscribe button on the Royal Rebounds TV. Calvin and Barry are fantastic. They are just great to come on, and just appreciate you taking the time to invite me on tonight. And I really do appreciate coming on. It was great to talk Kings basketball, and just moving forward, man, I'm looking for more Sacramento Kings wins. I'm hoping that they give us what the fans have been seeking and what they've been wanting for, and that is a team that's going to be competitive every night and give us themselves a chance to win and to play better basketball moving forward. So
Awesome. And then we got your channel down below in the description, so make sure you guys check that out. SacTown Pete puts out awesome videos. Well, thanks again, man. Have a good night. Good to see you.
All right, guys. Have a good night, Barry. Take care.
All right, guys. As you might know, Calvin is off this evening, so I had a special guest, SacTown Pete, filling in. Another awesome victory for your Sacramento Kings, 104-99 over the LA Clippers tonight. The Clippers were favored by 1.5, but the Kings fought really hard in this game, and they outplayed the Clippers straight up. They broke a 15-game losing streak at home against the Clippers. This is the first win against the Clippers in the new Golden One Arena. Marvin Bagley played really big tonight, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 28 points from Terrence Davis. Starting tonight, he played incredible, 6 of 11 from the three-point line. Harrison Barnes should be back on Wednesday night against the Magic. Mo Harkless should be back as well. Calvin and I will be back to do another post-game podcast Wednesday night after the Magic game. In the next couple of days, you guys might catch me here doing another 2K rebuild. But if you're a Kings fan, make sure you guys hit that like button down below and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more awesome Kings content. Thank you guys so much. Awesome victory, and we'll see you guys next time. Go Kings.